You're listening to Fish Grow Plants, a podcast all about practicing and sharing the love of aquaponics, hosted by Logan Schoolcraft.
Hello and welcome to Fish Grow Plants. In today's episode, we'll be discussing the fish routine, or said differently, the process you have when dealing with your fish. I'm a strong creature of habit for a lot of stuff I do. The good news for me is that if I can control my habits, I can control a lot of what and how I do things. What do I mean? Well, how about this for an example? My daily routines around aquaponics, microgreens, and potted plants are pretty set. My morning routine includes watering microgreens and feeding fish, as a minimum. At lunch, it's the watered potted plants, and in the evening, I tend to the fish again and rewater the microgreens. I thought this was just a reasonable pattern to have that worked for me in my current situation. But as I've recently found out, it's more than that. I've been watching a couple of old dogs for a week or so now, and a surprising thing happened. They picked up on my routines. I mean, we tend to support each other in reinforcing our habits. If I'm early, I'll wake them up. But if I'm late, they start pacing and trying to get my attention. It was really weird the first few times this happened. But once I figured out what was going on, I had to ask myself, am I really this habitual? Guess I am. Maybe by now you can see this story as hinting at the point of having a routine. Perhaps you don't have to be as strict as I apparently am, but a routine helps in a lot of ways. So let's look at a routine for working around your fish. What would be good to include, and how can you do that? Well, here's a short list that you might want to think about. Inspecting. This also includes talking to and doing general practitioner work. Feeding, usually several times a day. Hardware checks. You don't want those pumps to go out on your friends, do you? And leak checks. You don't want your fish running out of water, do you? Alright, that's a pretty short list, and depending on how long you talk with your fish, it can probably be done on the order of just a few minutes. Just in case you're looking to have more revolving rounds of fish and not long-term pets, you might want to think about adding these additional steps to your routine. Harvesting or cleaning the fish for eating, actually eating or selling your fish, and records. The more fish you have, the more records you'll have. So being able to compare what you're doing great at where you need to improve would be an advantage. Can I give you a routine to follow? No. Why not? Well, everyone has a different setup and different needs and purposes for their system. In my case, I don't intend on eating my goldfish, so I just try to make sure they are happy and healthy when I drop in on them a couple of times a day. I'm not doing production work here, so it's okay for me to spend more time talking to my fish than thinking about how much I just fed them. And if you live in a much cooler place than me, you might have a totally different fish, require a completely different routine, like checking on heaters in the greenhouse or water tanks. So have no fear, just remember what you need to do and go after it. It's okay to make a big sticky note and put it up so you can follow it until you have it all by memory. If you do use sticky notes, it probably won't be that long that one day you'll look at it and wonder what it's for, since you forgot to remove it and it just got collecting dust. My last bit of advice would be that if you love your fish, don't worry. You're going to do everything you can for them, and your routine will form out of that love. See, you already have it inside of you. Maybe just help coax it out. Take care and happy aquaponicking.
This has been another episode of Fish Grow Plants, the podcast all about practicing and sharing the love of aquaponics, hosted by Logan Schoolcraft.